Just wipe the field up here. The reduction of costs through the cast off. Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day. Make sure to like the video to show your support for the channel and subscribe to partake in all of our cool contests and giveaways. More information available within the Linktree link description below, or give it a Google Hello Good Game Linktree and I'm sure it'll come up. Within today's video, we'll be playing a delicious anti-aggro deck in the best of one. We have a ton of removal, field wipes, and some hefty creatures as well, which is, of course, if you're an aggro player, your worst nightmare. We're going to break down the deck list, talk about our strategies and synergies incorporated within, moving into the gameplay footage, breaking down the playlines and interactions. Of course, wrapping up with our final thoughts and deck review, giving you a good idea whether or not the deck is right for your personal playstyle, and of course your wildcard collection. Again, massive thank you for everybody spending some time with me on the channel, helping support, liking the videos, commenting, all of that. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get into it. So this is a Jeskai deck. Red, white, and blue with a giant base in best of one standard with a 4.3 average mana value, 60 non-creatures, 20 creatures with a smooth 24 land, just for consistency's sake. And let's start with all of the field wipes, I guess. Battle of Frost and Fire for 5 mana, dealing 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker when it enters the battlefield. That's great. Next up, we scry 3, and then finally, whenever you cast a spell with mana 5 or greater, draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which is great as well. So a little bit of a draw engine and a field wipe tied in together with the scry in the middle. That is, a saga sandwich that I'd love to, chomp down on. Moving forward, 4 copies of Realm-Cloaked Giant for 7, a 7/7 with Vigilance, but what's most important here is the field removal. Cast off for 5, sorcery speed as the adventure, destroy all non-giant creatures. Again, this is great for us. And then finally, for the trifecta, the Cyclone Summoner for 7, my favorite card, I'm sure you know. This is a 7 power, 7 toughness. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hand except for giants, wizards, and lands. So between the Battle of Frost and Fire, dealing 4 damage to all non-giants, the Cyclone Summoner bouncing all non-giants, and the Realm-Cloaked Giant cast-off destroying all non-giants, you should have no problem wiping the field of any creature-based deck. We have more than that though. There is 4 copies of Bonecrusher Giant, which has Stomp at instant speed as the adventure for 2 mana. Damage can't be prevented this turn, Stomp dealing 2 damage to any target. Woof. So we've got a little bit of early game removal as well, not only within Stomp, but also Prismari Command. For 3 mana at instant speed, we get to choose 2, dealing 2 damage to any target. Target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token or destroy target artifact. So we get to use a little bit of removal here, which is nice, or we can draw and discard, which is also great. Better yet, we can make that treasure token for ourselves, which I love. We can also remove any artifacts that our opponent may have, whether it's a Henge, a Cleave, a Maze Mind Tome, the list goes on and on. So Prismari Command is just, such a good card from Strixhaven that it had to be included. So that is all of our removal. We have, I guess, Elspeth Conquers Death as well to exile target permanent and opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. Next up, we tax them on non-creature spells for 2 mana until our next turn. And then finally, return target creature or planeswalker from our graveyard to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter or a loyalty counter on it. So there's no planeswalkers here, so it's the +1/+1 counter and our creatures. All of these spells are pretty expensive, right? They're 5 mana or greater. We can reduce the cost of them through Thryx, the Sudden Storm for 5 mana, 4/5 with Flash and Flying. Spells we cast with mana value 5 or greater will cost 1 less to cast and cannot be countered, which is really cool. So it makes sure that all of these powerful spells will actually land against some of the more control-esque type decks. We can, exponentially increase our damage through Calamity Bearer, it would seem. 3 power, 4 toughness. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage to permanent or player instead. We've got the whole giant deck. We're going to have lots of attackers. We're keeping the field clean through the non-giant based wipes, which is really cool. And then, the double damage is crazy. We talked about the Bonecrusher Giant, a 4/3. Whenever it's the target of a spell, deal 2 damage to that spell's controller. Aegar, the Freezing Flame for 3, a 3/3. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt access damage. If a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. So this is a nice draw engine for us as well. Keep in mind that when the Battle of Frost and Fire deals damage, it will not be a spell, but it will be an enchantment. Will not trigger it. However, the rest of your combat damage will, and you could potentially even have your command trigger it as well. We have Glimpse of Cosmos for 2, or Glimpse the Cosmos for 2. Sorcery speed, looking at the top 3 cards of our library, putting 1 into our hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. And as long as we control a giant, we can replay it from the grave for 1 blue source and then exile it once we do. So nice replayability there. And of course, Search for Glory for 3. Search your library for a snow permanent, legendary card, or a saga. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. You gain 1 life for each snow mana spent to cast this spell. We can grab the Freezing Flame. We can grab the Battle of Frost and Fire. We can grab Thryx. We can grab Elspeth Conquers Death. So a lot of really nice goodies that we can grab there. Of course, we can also grab a lands, which might be what we need to ensure that we're getting that curve that we want, right? So there's a couple options with Search for Glory in the deck, and I really think that it ties itself together. That's the deck list. We've got some triumphs, we've got some pathways for consistency. You could risk the biscuit if you want to throw a Faceless Haven in here if you want, but there's a ton of creatures, so you really shouldn't need that in my opinion. Just stick with what you have. We're going to break down our gameplay footage for today and then move on to our final thoughts. So again, thank you guys all so much. Make sure to like the video if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel to partake in our contests and giveaways. More information on everything. You can support the channel. Check out my Spotify. Join the community to learn more about what's going on through the Linktree link in the description below, or give it a Google. And let's get into it. Going first, 3 land is fine. Looking for a plains. Looking for a plains. Without it, we're still okay. My game is not great because we're rendering graphics. We gotta work all the time. That means rendering in the background. That's not a plains, but it does help us quite a bit. I like Search for Glory in this deck. Typically, we search for battle if we don't have it already, but we can also search for Cyclone Summoner, which, again, we already have. Planes off the top? No. No. What are they playing? Is it a control deck? It must be, right? What do we find here? We should have cast this first before we played our land, and then we could have had the plains, which, I mean, isn't... We don't have mana to do anything here, but... Yeah. I mean, it's just guaranteed. I'm curious as to what they're playing. I mean, we have to assume there's like Magma Opus, the Goldspan Dragon. That's all runs Epiphany, right? Or is it a counterspell? Let's just test the waters, right? Is it a counterspell? They probably have removal too, so they might not prioritize their counter on the creatures. Because they could just deal 4 damage to everything, you know what I mean? So they might have to do that differently, but we'll see. Do we grab our Elspeth Conquers Death, maybe? It is dragon time. That's okay, though. I'm totally fine with that. Right? We can wipe this dragon out, unless they have a counterspell. If they have a counterspell, we're screwed. No. Let's just wipe it. There's a ton of wipes in this deck. I don't know how the recording goes, but as far as the pre-render on my OBS, it's very poor. Maybe I should minimize that too. Get rid of that real quick. Hopefully things smooth out. In the future, I'll render on my own time, apparently. Unless it's fine and smooth. You guys will have to let me know. Oh, wow. Nice. 2 in a row. That's a problem. We need that plains real bad. Alright, let's see if Calamity Bearer makes it. I don't know how high of hopes I have for this match. They have so much interaction. That's going to make it hard for us. Yeah. Yeah, it is nice to get rid of at least one of the counters. Right? Hit for 4. They could just all run tier and win the game. Nice. Good game. Whoa. Alright. That was kind of hard. We didn't really find our land like we wanted to, but I have faith that we're going to do well with this deck. Our opponent plays first. I'm going to mulligan looking for 3 lands. This is better. I like command. It helps us ramp. The draw is good too. Let's throw Cyclone Summoner, because we're going to get a really tasty draw with Glimpse. And we find a wipe anyways. Playing against Yorion though, so it's just stupid ultimatum deck. I hate it so much. I'm sure you guys, some of you at least, must feel similar. Crazy. So much for my faith of doing well with this deck. Our opponent's going to be really pleased with their win here, right? Let's hit the Unchained for 2. No attacks end turn. Then we wipe it next turn. Okay. Eliminate has been pulled from their hand. Land. Yorion goes into their hand, I assume. Our turn. We get the land. That means we get to keep the treasure. We kill the Unchained, unless we're countered. It goes through. And there it is. Nice. That's right on curve for them, and they even ramped into it. I love it. I cannot wait for this card to leave. Cannot wait. September could not come soon enough for HCG. Fresh meta, please and thank you. Roof is right. I don't think this is winnable. Winnable. Hey, Maya? Yeah, Maya says I should probably just give up. Like, be reasonable. You'll never win this. Interesting. Let's stomp and play. We can Cyclone Summon next turn. Or do they just cast another ultimatum? Guaranteed they just cast another ultimatum. Double turn. They look for it again here. I mean, you can watch Maya. It's probably more entertaining. And see me get my face beaten. Right? Here comes another ultimatum. Oh, just another epiphany. Don't worry. Nothing to see here. No! No! Alright. So they get another turn. If they cast another turn, they have lethal. I mean, they can play Vorinclex, have lethal. There's so many things they could do. Did they just not? Oh, that's a Triome. I thought that was the ultimatum. We're gonna give them the hearts. Even though they're an ultimatum player, you know, we can't disrespect them too much. Right? It's a good game regardless. Big hit here. They have 5 available mana. They can just beat us with Professor Onyx, is the sad part, though. And they could even just counter this. Nice. Wow. Just flawless victory. Oh, man, that hurt. Hat looks really nice here. Plenty of lands. We can ramp and remove. We'll have to see, though. It's mono red, so it's going to be pretty ugly off the start. Stomp the robber. Ay caramba. I'm going to pass my turn. I want a Prismari Command. Wow. We make a treasure for the ramp. We kill their creature. It does make a lot of sense just to take it. Typically, we search for our Elspeth Conquers Death if we get something. It's rare to draw it, as there's only one in deck. I'm gonna pass turn. play Thryx, because if Thryx dies, Elspeth will bring it back. They could cleave. No. They could stomp us to finish it off? No. Interesting. That fizzles. What do we want here? Cyclone Summoner? Oh, no. Sorry. We can't take Cyclone Summoner. The Battle of Frost and Fire. Cyclone Summoner would be ideal. Let's play another Giant. We can remove the field with Realm-Cloaked Giant or Battle of Frost and Fire. I think we can start hitting. Right, they don't have a Faceless Haven in play, so that's nice. That is good. I'll still defend. Or, nah, I'll let it go through. Alright, keep our Giants alive. Just wipe the field up here. The reduction of costs through the cast-off is, like, ultra nice. Same for Battle Frost and Fire. Big hit, right? That's really good. And in all honesty, we're going to cycle this land. We already have 7 mana. There's no need for anything more. Late Historian is good. Do they have something with haste to go alongside it? Cycle the Triome. There it is. So these can go. Bonecrusher up top. And now we're going to bounce our battle back. Right? Super BM here. We get a win. We get a win. Even Maya's excited about it. We can do better, though, right? Our opponent plays first land. Looks actually nice again. Mono white annoys me. We have some removal on turn 2. Search on turn 3. It's gonna immediately take this. Wow. Let's wait. We'll be responsible. Okay, now we immediately take it. Because the sacrifice can be really bad if there's another creature in play. I think they could... Oh, and that's why we should have done it earlier. Oh, that sucks for us so bad. Ouch, ouch, ouch. We can double Glimpse next turn, and I just want to hit this battle out as soon as we possibly can. Skyclave Apparition, a Lenin Light Scribe. We can grab our 5th land really easily. Let's make it a snow source, so we have the 3 snow. And we're going to do it on their upkeep. Just so they're spending their mana next turn, not this turn. And as it untaps. Sucks that we're going to lose our Giant straight to the grave, but whatever. We just want rid of the protection. Would it protect, as they can only choose one, and this damage comes from 2 sources? I wonder. I actually have no... I can't answer that question. Do we know if I play Battle of Frost and Fire, if they grab protection from red, will it still kill them because it's also blue? And can they only survive it if they have protection from both, or do they just need protection from either? That's the question I want to know. Let's try to clean it up. I mean, they could have Indestructible, and they already have protection on the Light Scribe. But we do have to go for it. Really? So yeah, it survives, even though it's red and blue. Interesting. He's in the house. He says, welcome to the show. Oh, we better get out of here. Come on, camera. And, yeah, I'm just going to force them to have it. Double strike is good. I'm glad it's out of the way. And now, for the big question here. Oh, those are not really what we want for this matchup, though. The land is good. Takes us to 6. Right, like, we could search for those if that's what we wanted. Now, I'm going to pass my turn. And when Magecraft goes on the stack, we strike. They only have 2 cards. This should be easy enough. Two damage, treasure. Oh, no, cancel. That's wrong. 2 damage, treasure. 2 damage, treasure. Freeze and thank you. Should I not be able to... Oh, because my treasure's not resolved yet. Nice. Oh. Shoot! Nice. Oh, man, we got burned there. Good game. I guess we could have gained 1 life. But again, that was their attack phase, so we couldn't have done a sorcery speed spell. Ah! Going first. It's about time. Let's see if it is able to help us at all. Today's video has not been what I wanted, but it's okay. We're going to push through it. We've got a nice turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 here. Let's just send it up top. Get right to it. I'm a little worried. I do not like this deck. We already had to face it today. Brutal. We just need to overwhelm them. This is good. It looks like we get a free turn. We need to top deck a red source. If not, it's the Flame and the Triome. And that's our red source for next turn. They have the Triome for 4 life as well, so it's basically like this hit does nothing. Sag. I mean, potentially lethal next turn, but we have to see them. Well, they've got Faceless Haven even. The dragon's now in our way. I think we still go for it though, don't we? And we still just go all out. Oh, nice. Good on them. Well, I guess they're not... They could have just defended. I guess they really must want to keep Galazeth alive. That's 8 damage, regardless. Okay, so Galazeth goes as well, and they're just cleaning up the field. Well, it's not good, right? They could still have a field wipe. I mean, it's really easy to petty theft a Calamity Bearer. Not a good matchup for us. I mean, we want to be facing up against aggro decks, not mid-range and control decks, which is the majority of what we've seen today. I mean, there's counter spells, there's removal, there's, you know, bounce effects. They counter it. We do 6 damage, they gain 4 life. Down to 8, back up to 12. We have 8 damage next turn, potentially. Whoa. I don't think they'll remove it here, though. Why wouldn't they do it at instant speed? We're at 20 life. They have 7 mana. Wow. So, we do have 5 mana. We can kill the Haven. They could counter it. They have one. Son of a bee. Dang it. There's nothing we're doing here other than losing our creature. I mean, they lose their Haven. We have a glimpse after this. Ouch. So they have 6 available mana. Still, if they play a land, that's 7. And they're just digging through their deck with Expressive Iteration. 1 into their hand, 1 into exile that they can play this turn, and 1 on the bottom of their library. So they keep the Haven, or Fable Passage, sorry. It's like flaring out here a little bit. This side? Yeah. Right. I mean, let's pass this up, I guess. Definitely, we're tailored to beat what is supposed to be the majority meta of aggro decks. Being proven wrong here today. I mean, this is even a unique mid-range deck. It's the counter spells, double turns that gets out of control with those dragons, and the Brazen Boar was petty theft, right? So guaranteed this is all run. It could, I guess, we saw it coming too. I just assume the worst. All right, Giants don't care. Another land. Let's do 2 damage. Create a treasure. That's going to be our 7th mana. In case we don't draw. Unfortunately, these Giants are also an amazing matchup against us. Like, beyond amazing. Everything we have doesn't affect giants. Arena is so great some days. Okay. Another counterspell. That's totally fair. Getting hit for 8 here, down to 10. As a very minimum, they could play the dragon too. No dragon, just 8 damage though. Just 8 damage, that's a no. No. And then another giant. Dang it, man. All we can do is get in the way of them. Today's matchups are brought to you by the matchmaking algorithm. Hashtag so sad. They do lose their treasure. Big value gain there, right? That's a lot of value. It's going to be hard for them to win the game without that treasure. You know, that 9th mana, 10th mana was really what they needed. What? Why wouldn't they attack with the Haven too? And then the turn after would have been lethal. Oh. Well, they still could have slapped us in the mouth. Love it. Oh, and now they take a double turn. Good freaking game, bro. Brutal. Brutal. Alright, so we played an anti-creature deck and we did not run into many creatures. And the ones we did were quick, right? I played this deck a bunch in the play queue. It performed very well. Today's gameplay footage was the opposite of that. You know, you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. And I always try to include the winners with the losers for you guys so you can see you know, what exactly is happening in my day-to-day. It doesn't all look, you know, like rose-colored glasses or whatever. It's not all gravy. It is sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's really cool, but there's those times where we get punished, and today was one of them. What do you guys think of the deck, right? How can we improve it? Do you want to see more of this style of deck? And, you know, I'm really liking it. I think it's a good base. Unfortunately, actually is pretty safe from rotation as well. We're losing Thryx, which is really nice. We're losing Elspeth Conquers Death, and we're losing Realm-Cloaked Giant. But the rest of the deck, oh, and Bonecrusher Giant. So we do lose a fair amount. It probably gets butchered in September. But until then, we could probably make it work. Again, let me know what you guys think. How can we improve it in the comments below? Thank you all again for your time and attention. Support the channel if you can afford to do so. Check out the Linktree link for all the different avenues to do so. And of course, like the video at the very least. Watch some more if you don't have anything going on right now. And we'll see you soon in the next.